Always remember.
Hello there, General Kenobi, say it back, and welcome to episode 15 of Determined Focus, a Star Wars podcast where we do indeed yap about Star Wars before we get into tonight's topic of lightsaber duels. We thank you for being with us. Thank you for actually being here and viewing this, which is awesome. If you'd like to support the show with more than just your view, which is literally the most important thing, you can grab some merch and support us monetarily down at the link in the description. I am joined by my effervescent, there we go, there's a $5 word, co-host Grayson today. Hey Grayson.
General Kenobi.
Hey, he said it. He said it back, guys. What's up, dude? What's going on? Happy Monday.
Dude, happy Monday, bro. It honestly kind of feels like it's been a while. I don't know why. It's not been that long, but to me it feels like it. So I'm happy to be here and talk about lightsaber duels and probably
I know.
Things.
It's been what, 6 days since we recorded on Tuesday with Ashton? Right? People know we said it last week.
Oh yeah.
We said it.
That is in the pipeline, yes. And that was a very good discussion, and I'm very excited for it to debut hopefully this weekend.
It'll be this weekend. It'll be this weekend.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It'll be this weekend. And then we have another guest that we are a secret guest that we are recording with on.
We got him lined up, man.
Yeah. What is it? Oh, we're talking about lightsaber battles, dude. I like flipping forgot. Before we talk about lightsaber duels, we should probably check in with chat because we got some people here. Also this week specifically, and every week moving forward. Hi everybody on Twitter. Hey, what's up? We're live on Twitter right now, other than just YouTube.
X.
Oh.
Twitter. It's called
Hi everybody on the bird. Who is here? Daniel's here. Happy Monday. Ryan is here. What's up, dude?
What's going on, Ryan?
Wizard nerd. What's up? This is Jake. # Gaines, baby. Dude, it throws me off every time that you don't have that same profile picture from like a year and a half ago and the same name. But what's up, dude? # Gaines. Thank you to Downcast Bug who just copped a shirt. YFDYR, baby. Put in the chat which one you got, because I want to know which one you copped. Yeah. Even though I can probably look on the app, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, surprise us.
Yeah, let us know in the chat. Wes is here, recent listener. I'm planning for Rebel ScumCon and looking forward to it. Did you buy your ticket yet? Did you get your ticket yet? Because if you need a ticket, you can use code The Force for a little bit of money off. I think it's 10%. Off of your order?
I didn't know this. This is a thing? We have
a
discount
dude.
Code?
When we talked to Kentucky and Dante and Bobby last time, we announced it on the show. You were there.
We did.
Yep. You were there.
It's just The Force?
The Force. Yeah.
Oh.
I was gonna do YFDYR, but thought that was a little too much to remember. So
yeah, I would agree.
well, this is perfect timing. That's incredible. I'm hold on. Now I'm second guessing myself. Is it just Force or is it The Force? Hold on. Let me check. I'm
sure Wes can put in either of them and figure out if it's
yeah, just type them. Grayson riff while I search on my text with Dante.
Okay. JT, also sorry about your account last week. I forgot we didn't mention that. Asajj v Anakin. on top 5 of all time, not likely. Not likely. I don't.
That is really fun. That is a really. I love that lightsaber duel. Honestly,
absolutely.
all of the Gendy fights are fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it gonna make it in the top 5? Definitely an honorable mention. Like it's an all timer, but not a top 5 all timer.
Yeah, that might be a little much.
Speaking of lightsaber duels, well, this never happens, and I would love it. Shout out Tatooine Traders. I got the new shirt in. He probably has some of these left over. By the way, this is
so bummed, dude.
A faded one. I don't know if he's done this for the other shirts, but this is one of my new favorite shirts. It actually is my favorite shirt of his, bro. Starkiller, Ahsoka with the white lightsabers.
So sick, dude.
It's peak. It's peak.
So sick.
Yeah, Tatooine Traders is a good buddy of ours, and he does not miss.
He is literally the best.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm very excited that he also sent me a sticker pack, which I don't know if that normally comes with it or not, but I'm really pumped that it did because it came with some of the ones on your mic.
Did it come with the Jawa?
I already have the Jawa.
Did it come with Leia? Betty Boop Leia?
Betty Boop Leia. Yeah.
What about glow in the dark Fordo?
Not glow in the dark Fordo. It came with the Revenge of the Sith one that you have on there, the 20th one.
Nice. Honestly, the glow in the dark Fordo is it's a blessing and a curse because
you see it in the middle of the night.
Because every time my wife is like, "Can you put the bottle on the floor?"
How bright is his Fordo,
bro? It is like a beam, dude. Like if the room is pitch black, there is just a giant green Fordo against the wall. It's sick. It's actually really cool.
That's insane. That's
awesome. The blacks. You mean this one?
Or did you get it in Orabesh? Although that one is, I didn't know that was on the back of it too, bro.
Yeah, dude. And the
Orabesh one is my favorite.
Yeah, I know. That's the only one. That's the one I gotta get. That's the one I gotta get.
Someone people ask about it all the time. They're like, "What does it mean?" And I'm like, "You'll never know."
Watch the Phantom Menace. A friend of mine recently finished Rebels, so I had to keep Kanan's death a secret. That's Hey Jake, thanks for being a good friend.
But I'm not gonna pour this out.
Just
like drink it.
Dump it on the floor. Okay. We didn't really talk about our.
What was the code?
The Force. The Force.
This is the Force. Okay.
The Force. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless Dante put it in differently and it is just Force. But hey, try both. One, it's all capital letters. That's the one thing I know. It's all capitals because I know it's case sensitive.
That's how the Force works on rebelscum.com. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The Force is my use code. The Force is my ally, and a powerful ally it is on for 10% off. We didn't talk about criteria for the lightsaber duels. Do we have, or is this, as Connor and Seth would say, the rule of cool?
I do you have criteria? If you do, I'd be happy to
I don't, but I didn't want to because I'm truly just picking based on favorites.
That's yeah. I mean, honestly, it's just two elements: is it cool, and what is the plot significance of it? Because there's a lot of lightsaber fights that are like, yeah, it's cool, like honorable mention. All right, I'm just gonna go and say not top 5, but definitely an honorable mention. Palpatine versus Maul and Savage in Clone Wars, awesome fight, but I don't think it makes it in the top 5. Mainly because it doesn't have as much. What is this in your top 5? Is it in your top 5?
Dude, okay. Well, we can talk about it. We can talk about it.
Okay.
We can talk about it. Why don't you have do you want to go back and forth on this, or do you want to go all 5 and all 5?
I guess we also didn't talk about, are we gonna make like a collaborative 5? Are we kind of like with the Luke outfits? Like, are we gonna like hash back and forth? Okay.
Yeah, I think we should do 5 and 5, kind of like what we did with you and Cole for the Jedi thing, where it was like we each kind of have our picks and then we pick like a full list.
Okay.
I think that's how we should go about it and make a definitive list that even Lucasfilm agrees with.
Okay. Well, there's two that are absolute no-brainers for me. I have not put them in a hierarchy of like 5 to 1.
Ooh.
But I these are probably my top two.
Okay. What's your number if you had to pick a number 5?
I should have organized them better. And I don't want you to say anything yet.
Do you want me to go first? And you
No.
organize while I go first?
No.
Okay.
Because I know my 3, I know my 4. What is my 5, bro? Actually, you go first. I lied.
Okay. My number 5 of the Disney era is Maul and Kenobi. Well, it's not. I'm just saying it's of the Disney era. I'm not saying it's like denoted of like only can be Disney era. It's Maul versus Kenobi in Rebels.
Oh shoot! Thank you for reminding me of that one.
That's my number 5. I love that lightsaber duel.
Yeah.
It is literally 4 moves, and it's one of the coolest moments in all of Star Wars that is a lightsaber duel.
So same Whitworth button.
Yep.
I love now getting to explain that to people who don't understand because of it and like the dissection of it all. I was literally at work this past weekend, and I can't believe I like didn't mention it because of that. And he was like, he didn't know about the fighter. Like he saw it. And he's like, man, that fight is so short. And then I explained it to him, and he was like, whoa, what? And I'm like, yup.
Yep.
That might be my number 4 right
Whoa.
there. I'm going to put number 5 as Battle of the Heroes for me.
Whoa, dude. Your number 5 is Revenge of the Sith Mustafar?
Yep.
Wow. Yep. I'm so excited to hear what is better than that in your eyes for those.
Oh, I've got 3 that I think are better.
Wow.
Well, technically 4 because you listen. Your 5 is now my 4 as well. Like that's
so right now your 5 is Battle of the Heroes, Anakin versus Obi-Wan, Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
and then Maul versus Kenobi is at 4.
Yep,
dude. Wow. My my number 4 is Ahsoka Vader, Twilight of the Apprentice.
Shoot, that's good. That is good.
It might be a hot take here. Most of mine on this list are animated.
Only one of mine is animated.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I guess now with the Obi-Wan and Maul, that's 2. So 2 are animated. See, the thing about that fight is I love it, but there's still so much more conclusion that is needed for me, where it's like it feels kind of like it feels to me kind of like an Attack of the Clones fight in the sense of like the plot significance of like it's the middle chapter, right? Because then it kind of all culminates in the fight in Ahsoka, which is, you could argue, is that a fight or is it more of a test? You decide. But I think it's that weirdly enough, like I guess it's technically the first encounter, but it definitely feels like, oh, well, the story isn't done yet, especially now thinking of Ahsoka. That one I don't think is in my 5. I think it is like 5B if I had to like. It's a top honorable mention. Truly.
Yeah. No, I get that. I like that fight. It's funny that you say conclusion. I like that fight for the exact opposite of the reason I like the Maul versus Kenobi, because the Maul versus Kenobi fight is all conclusion. It is like, it is incredibly quick. It is 100% conclusive.
Yep.
And as opposed to the Ahsoka, and I like the Ahsoka Vader fight, obviously for the significance of like Vader and Ahsoka, but like that's one of those lightsaber battles where I'm like glued to the TV, and I am like, there are I can almost recite that fight word for word in terms of the dialogue.
Yeah.
It's so good. And there are very few lightsaber fights where I feel like the dialogue is as fun as that one, and as like, I don't know, you compare it to something like, I guess you can't really compare it to Mustafar Revenge of the Sith because like everybody knows all those lines, but like, yeah, got his own Fordo signal. Yeah, dude.
Wait,
I just read Jake's comment and I was like, "What's a Fordo signal?" And then I was thinking of the glow in the dark sticker.
Like a bat signal.
I honestly was like, "Is there something wrong with my mic?" Okay, yeah, that's my 4 is Twilight of the Apprentice.
Okay. Well, my 3 is Duel of the Fates.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not on mine.
Not on yours at all.
That's not on mine.
Really?
Nope.
I think there's 2 reasons why it's on this fight, and they're the 2 most important reasons. Is I think it is undoubtedly the best fight in the prequels, without a shadow of a doubt. I think they're like,
whoa, dude.
Yeah, dude.
That so you prefer that over Duel of the Fates over Battle of the Heroes.
I mean, it's the Battle of the Heroes is my 5, bro.
That's
Duel of the Fates is at number 3.
Dude, that's a hot take.
I don't think it is, because it's the choreography, like, because when Battle of the Heroes, like Revenge of the Sith came out, people critique that fight a little bit, because I've got a little bit of beef in lightsaber fights when they do the tippy tappy thing.
Yeah.
And occasionally in that fight, as much as I love it, there's sometimes where Anakin and Obi-Wan, it feels like they're going so fast that there's not it doesn't feel like there's a lot of weight behind it. I love lightsaber fights that have some weight to it. And I think Duel of the Fates is the perfect example of speed, fluidity, and power and strength behind it. Because you think about that moment when they're in the reactor shaft after Qui-Gon is killed, you feel every hit. I mean, and they're going...
I totally agree with you, dude. I love that fight. It's awesome.
And it's the direct catalyst of everything that comes after it. It is the shot heard around the world. Without that, I mean, it's called Duel of the Fates for the reason. It's that whole Dave Filoni roundtable talk where he's like, if that fight doesn't go the way it does, Anakin, like Qui-Gon lives, it changes everything, you know? And it's got the flair. It's got like, and Dylan, like, he's like, no talk. And that's like, yeah, that's great. There's no dialogue in that fight, which is actually a huge difference from a lot of fights. And it's just like, I truly think that's where, like, it's still one of my favorites on a choreograph level. There is just one more, at least on a choreography level, that is higher than this. And that is my number 2 spot, because my number 1 spot has the most emotional resonance out of all of the fights. But that Duel of the Fates, like, it is my, I would say, probably my favorite fight on a like a strict choreography level.
Yeah. No, I agree. That it's funny that you bring up choreography, because that's like the basis of why I love not the full. I would say it's like 70-30 choreography and weight for this next one.
Mm-hmm.
My number 3 is Maul versus Ahsoka in Clone Wars.
See, that's my number 2.
Clone Wars season 7, because the choreography of that fight, going back and watching it, it is literally a live action fight.
It is also, yeah. I mean, it actually is like like it's Ray Park and I believe her name is Mary Kim doing the stunt work for Ahsoka, and she's sliding around on the floor, and I mean, Ray Park is putting, like, it's just like, and I love that one. That's why Duel of Fates is 3, and then Ahsoka Maul is 2, because they feel like such a continuation. And in a weird way, the Siege of Mandalore fight feels like I would say like a sequel to Duel of the Fates in a way, in the sense that, like, the way, like, that fight, if that conversation went a little bit differently, it also could have changed everything. Like, they were that close to teaming up.
Yeah.
Then that fight is what transpires, and it makes everything go down the way it does on Ahsoka's front.
Yep.
It is masterful, dude.
It is phenomenal, dude. I have that like one of the first moves of Maul where Ahsoka defends it, of him slamming his right hand down with the 2 back kicks while he's going in the air. That is,
where he's like hopping on one foot and like bam, bam.
That is burned into my brain, because, and it's so smooth, the animation as well, where like and Ahsoka has both sabers and she goes up dude, it is so good.
And they've got that healthy amount of banter. She's just like, you wouldn't have stood a chance if Anakin was here.
Oh,
also,
yeah.
I love when he ignites the saber, and it's like obviously again a direct parallel to Phantom Menace, but he does this really cool like a little bit of a difference where he like has the hand back here, and I'm just like, oh, it's so like kung fu
it literally
movie.
shot for shot ignites the exact same way as Phantom Menace. It is awesome.
And plus, like saber fights are automatically boosted when they're in a throne room. You know? Like,
immediately.
Like, if there's a big chair in the background and there's sabers going at it in front of it,
immediately.
It's already, I mean, shout out, listen, I know this isn't actually like a fight that's ever been transpired, although if some fan out there wants to do it, but Luke and Mara versus Luke in Last Command in the throne room with Joruus like throwing stuff would also be a pretty if that fight ever got animated like the way Clone Wars did, I would just start ascending in my chair.
Dude. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's so many Legends fights that I'm like, I wish we saw in some sort of animation.
I'm not even someone who is up to snuff on like New Jedi Order and Legacy of the Force, but a Jason and Jaina fight of like when she kills Jason, and that being like such an emotional crux of those books, would go so hard. Like people like love Jason. Hello,
dude. What?
Gone? Your camera's gone.
Give me one whole second. I'll be right back. Continue to talk about Jaina and Jason. This is going to be so funny.
Okay. Well, audience, people love Jason and Jaina Solo because it was 15 years of their characters and their growth, and kids and then teenagers got to grow along with Jason and Jaina, and you connect all the way back to Last Command when Leia is sensing their intrinsic connection. Hot take, I don't think they would have done the dyad thing that they do in the sequels without Jason and Jaina. They're not actually a dyad in the books, but it's pretty dang close. I want to read those books now.
I like that.
Books. Okay, so your number 3 was Siege of Mandalore, Ahsoka Maul.
Yes.
And my number 2 was that. So what is your number 2?
Vader Luke Empire.
Yeah. That one is hard for me to keep off the list because it's so hard, dude.
Choreography is one thing of that fight, but the aesthetic of that fight when they start
in orange,
literally some of the best looking Star Wars of all time.
Another hot take here. That's my favorite choreography out of the original trilogy. It feels so like Vader is toying with Luke, and then he's kind of underestimating, like, oh, Luke is a little bit better than I thought, and then he's locked. Like I always think of like when they first ignite the sabers, and Luke's like stepping towards Vader, and Vader's he's like measuring him, and then all the way down to like literally Vader doing the twirl thing to disarm him and cut his head. Like, I don't know, it just like it feels so raw yet so real. Like it really feels like knights going at one another, you know? Plus, like, to go from where they were at in A New Hope to that fight is kind of a crazy leap, dude. Like, Obi-Wan versus Vader is just them in like a hallway, and then the next one they're like, hey, we're gonna go all the way around Cloud City into like the giant, like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
See, now you're making me want to bump out Battle of the Heroes.
I'll tell you right now, Battle of the Heroes is not on my list.
That's right. You haven't said Battle of the Heroes.
It's not on my list at all, and it won't be number 1. I apologize. Spoiler alert.
Well, we have so that was your number 2 was
Luke Vader is my Luke Vader Empire specifically is my. Let's
just go ahead and say what number 1 is. Acolyte. No. I'm just kidding.
Not to say it should not be mentioned because that is on the top 10.
Yeah, I agree. No, but it's Luke versus Vader, Throne Room, Return of the Jedi, Jedi's Destiny.
It's the best, and it's the best because it ends with the throwing away of the lightsaber. Like it's so much fun. It has the best scaling of a fight, I think. Without that fight, you don't get Anakin and Obi-Wan versus Dooku in Revenge of the Sith. You don't get the high ground in the Battle of Mustafar. You don't get the weight of Qui-Gon versus what is going on?
Oh no.
This sucks. We don't get the weight of my foot on my head and kicking my own camera because this is absolutely insane. Give me 1 second.
Will is about to pull a Luke on Vader, about to cut his hand off, but it's actually just him hitting himself in the head with a lightsaber hilt until he goes unconscious. How's everybody doing? What do y'all think so far? 17 of y'all currently, by the way. What does everybody think? How are we feeling about our top fives? Because I have Battle of the Heroes, and he has Empire Strikes Back. That's I think what it's going to come down to, is who's going to budge. Are you back?
I hate everything.
Are you okay? Is everything all right?
I'm about to duel the fates my computer right now. I don't know what's going on. It's a weird techie Monday.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You know what they say? That's what they always did back in the day. WTM, Weird Techie Monday.
I thought you were gonna say just fight their computer like Duel of the Fates until it turned back on.
No, it's the new Man Crush Monday.
Yeah. Is yours also that same fight?
What?
For number one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
no way.
That's why I said let's just go ahead and say number one together.
I thought it was like an obvious I know yours sort of thing.
No, I'm saying that is my number one. Like,
well, correct.
Like
absolutely.
Yeah, it's the culmination of the. I mean, even like taking into consideration the sequels, it's still the culmination of the entire saga in a weird way. Like, because like the end, also because the end of Rise of Skywalker like doesn't really have a straight up lightsaber fight is another thing. Like, it's so much of like Rey, embracing her, or like confronting her inner darkness with inner light. But like the Return of the Jedi is so much of Luke bringing his father back. I will not fight you, father. I am a Jedi like my father before me. So be it, Jedi.
Yeah.
No, father, please
help me.
No.
This is my impression of Vader looking between Palpatine and Luke. Because he can't turn his neck.
He moves like Batman, Tim Burton, Michael Keaton Batman.
It just seems
yeah. So the thing here is that I have Battle of the Heroes at number 5, and then all of yours. I have Battle of the Heroes and Duel of the Fates. You have. What is the other one?
Twilight of the Apprentice. You do not have.
Right. Okay.
So are we going to make a determined focus list, and then we're probably going to do like the top 5 like of all time, do you think? Or should this just be the definitive 5 that we agree with?
I mean, I assume that like to get collaboratively, we are going to make it like a top 5.
But I mean, like a top 5 for us, and then a top 5, because I do think if we were to do like the most iconic or like the most meaningful, I would say Battle of the Heroes is on there for me and for you.
Let's combine our lists first. Let's cross the streams, as they say in Ghostbusters and not Star Wars. And so we've got
Keymaster.
So yeah, the Stay Puffed Chop Mellow Man. That's a giant chopper. I don't know.
That's wow. No, it'd be Jabba the Puffed. It's a giant Jabba marshmallow.
Okay, so we've got. Let's lock in. Oh God. Okay, we got number 1 Throne Room.
Yeah.
And then, how would you feel about if? Okay, so one of us is gonna like has got to budge, and so it's either we take out Twilight of the Apprentice and we put in Battle of the Heroes, or I take out Battle of the Heroes and we shift. Because I do honestly, I'm fine with. Here's what I think. I think if we were to combine it, this is my proposition. Number 1, Throne Room. Number 2, Siege of Mandalore, Maul versus Ahsoka. Number 3, Luke versus Vader, Empire Strikes Back. Then, number 4, Maul versus Obi-Wan in Rebels. And then number 5, we have to decide, should it be Twilight or should it be Battle of the Heroes?
Where did you put Duel of the Fates?
Oh, I did take out Duel of the Fates. Okay. I will take out Battle of the Heroes. For Duel of the Fates.
I would prefer Duel of the Fates over Battle of the Heroes.
Okay, so we've got Throne Room number 1 currently, number 2 Siege, number 3 Empire. Then the question is, do we put Duel at 5? Do you want to put Duel of the Fates at number 5 and then Maul versus Obi-Wan at number 4 in Rebels?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it just looking at this list, I love Luke versus Vader in Return of the Jedi, and like I kind of feel like I am obligated to put Empire on the list just because I do love that fight. But once again, it's like an obligation of like nostalgia and meaning. If we are to go off, it's like, yeah, it's got to be on the list. But like, I think Maul versus Kenobi in Rebels might be like my like fan favorite on here. I love that fight.
You want to shoot that up to number 1?
No. I'm saying it might be. I'm saying Maul versus Kenobi might be number 3.
So you're saying Throne Room, Siege, Maul versus Kenobi?
Yes.
Okay, I'm cool with that. And then number 4, Empire?
Yeah.
And then number 5, Duel of the Fates.
We are going to get eaten alive if we do not have Battle of the Heroes on here for the
20th
anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith. We're going to get eaten alive, but I don't care. As much as that fight is like so much, I mean, literally right here on my desk is both of them. But like,
yeah,
I think
it's tough, dude. Because that is also, I mean, truly, if you're thinking about emotionally significant fights, it's probably number 2. But that's almost like a different rating, you know. But at the end again, it also is just stupidly entertaining.
Definitely, it is iconic because of its importance.
Yeah, I mean, like
as much as like Return of the Jedi is like the culmination of the saga, that is the culmination of a saga in a different way. If you were to like talk about release order,
yep, that was But like, is it over in our combined top 5? Does it go over Duel? I know Duel of Fates wasn't on your list, but like, I don't know, like Duel of the Fates and also I will say like Twilight of the Apprentice also like.
Yeah, it bums me out that that's not on the 5 because I love that fight, dude.
It's for me, it's just the thing of like I love that fight, but like when I think about Battle of the Heroes and Duel of Fates, I'm like those are just a little bit more for me, you know.
Yeah.
Like truly, a Twilight is like number 6. Like like the visuals of that fight and like because that's also another thing that I guess like we didn't put in. You mentioned it a second ago, but like the visuals of a fight, like you were talking about when you were talking about Empire with like the blue and the orange and the aesthetic of that fight.
Oh my gosh, the cinematography of that fight is like.
And so like same thing with Twilight of the Apprentice, like the red and the electricity and it being on this like flat plateau on a pyramid and it's just them, like is also really good. But then then you got Battle of the Heroes, which is on a freaking volcano, bro. Like, okay, so we've locked in Throne Room number 1, 2 Siege, 3 Maul, Obi, and Rebels.
Yep.
And then 4 is Luke, Vader, Empire.
Yep.
And then 5 is down to 3 options: Duel of the Fates, Battle of the Heroes, Twilight of the Apprentice. See, now that the more I think about it, especially like coming off the heels of like the 20th of Revenge of the Sith and like reading the novelization and everything, I'm like, dude, to like not have Battle of the Heroes at 5.
It's also the longest out of any of those.
It's a long fight. Luke is here.
Hey, buddy.
Luke, we have 2 individual lists, and we are.
He's going to say Revenge of the Sith. There's no way
he absolutely is. So I can't trust him. I mean, I'm just kidding. I can't trust him because I'm not hat guy. I like Revenge of the Sith.
He's not to be trusted.
Luke, I don't know if you heard everything. So we both have 2 individual 5s. We have 3 of them were crossed over. 2 of them were not. Our collaborative list currently is number 1 lightsaber fight of all time is Throne Room in Return of the Jedi, Luke versus Vader. Number 2 is Siege of Mandalore, Maul versus Ahsoka. Number 3 is Obi-Wan or Old Ben versus Maul on Tatooine, Twin Sons.
In Rebels.
In Rebels. Number 4 is Luke versus Vader, Empire Strikes Back, Cloud City. What we are deliberating now is should our 5, we were down to 3 options because these were the 3 that we like deviated on mostly. And the 3 options are either Duel of the Fates, which was at my number 3 originally, Battle of the Heroes, which was at my number 5, and then Twilight of the Apprentice, which was on Will's number 5. And we're trying to figure out which of those goes into the number 5 spot.
Which, Luke, I'm sure you'll be happy if you are to rewind at any point to know that Battle of the Heroes was not even on my top 5 for favorites. So do with that what you will, Mr. Luke's Outpost. We don't get Maul v. Kenobi if we don't get Duel of the Fates. Right. We also don't get Duel of the Fates, or we don't get Battle of the Heroes without Duel of the Fates.
Yeah. You also don't get Siege of Mandalore, Maul versus Ahsoka without Duel of the Fates.
But you also don't get Return of the Jedi or Empire without Battle of the Heroes.
Right. It's such a butterfly effect. But it's like, in which path do you go? Do you go like
it's either Maul or Vader.
Yeah. But then again, weirdly enough, it's like, because like you said, you don't get Battle of the Heroes without Duel of the Fates. So,
which speaking of Maul and Vader, remind me of that later on, because I have a talking point on Maul and Vader later on, just to end the stream. But
okay.
I mean, Luke, I think it's a 50-50 there. He said when somebody says lightsaber duels, you say Battle of the Heroes, not Duel of the Fates. And I think
it's 50-50.
I think it's truly 50-50. I think for people our age, I think you'd be more inclined to say Battle of the Heroes when you think of lightsaber duel. But I think for everyone who not only grew up around the prequels, but like we're older than like the 3 of us. Luke, speaking of you, 60-40. Yeah, all right.
Honestly,
what is this? Pawn Stars? It's like,
I think when you think of lightsaber fight, there's 3 you think of. Yep. At least there's 3 that I think of. It's Battle of the Heroes, Duel of the Fates, and then the Throne Room and Return of the Jedi.
100%. 100%. And I think a lot of people would be bummed that in our heads it is not. I think a lot of people, when they were to ask their favorite or like most iconic, it's hard not to say Vader, Luke, because that's That's kind of like the first of the like choreography lightsaber fights. Like obviously you get Obi-Wan and Vader in A New Hope.
But
And
it's
that's
like,
like but that's so samurai movie George before he transferred into like an actual battle.
right.
Um
That's the thing is
so
like it's like there's emotional significance there, but the choreography is lacking. Whereas the other ones, you really get the whole package.
uh, yeah, you can draw a direct line between Duel of the Fates and Return of the Jedi as well. Of like, if you were
Mm-hmm.
to watch that and then watch that, it's literally a direct through line. Um, man, this is tough, dude. Why is this 5 spot so tough?
This is literally also this is the one just between you and I. Like, um,
I think, I think, I think I'm going to say
what it, I'm gonna
it
quote
is so hard to say Battle of the Heroes without hearing Dave Filoni's explanation of Duel of
Duel
the
of the
Fates.
Fates. Yeah,
Because without that, like that explanation is like, oh, this is literally the most pivotal point.
yeah. Like
Like it's
from
it's it
like a butterfly domino effect standpoint, yeah. But it's also like it's so hard for me on the flip end to not think of the volcano and Anakin Obi-Wan and you were my brother, I loved you, like that whole
yeah,
thing,
but
and
yeah.
like it's so much of that like the crushing weight of their destroyed friendship and everything that had come up to that point, and like Anakin being so far gone, like it
But then I'm
informs
also
the next
like
20 years.
but then I'm also like just from a lightsaber fight perspective, I'm like is the dialogue of Battle of the Heroes a crutch for it? Because when you think of Duel of the Fates, there's no dialogue. And it's still just as good.
It's interesting as well because while Maul is the physical threat, the threat is so much is it's so much more dire that whereas like
The threat is Battle of the Heroes eventually.
yeah, yeah, like it's the fate it's the fate of Anakin Skywalker.
Yep.
That is the fate that they are dueling over. Whereas Obi-Wan is like fighting for the on one hand he's fighting for the soul of Anakin, on the other hand he is fighting to save the galaxy,
He
you
he's
know?
fighting for the safety of what's left of the galaxy, of what he's fought for his
I mean
entire life.
it's just like I have to put him down basically.
Yep.
Oh my god. It's 50-50, bro. It's 50-50 for like very slightly deviating reasons. I don't weirdly enough my heart tells me Battle of the Heroes, but I feel wrong.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm in the
Thinking
same boat.
about this number 5 spot for 15 minutes.
I think I'm going to say I think I'm going to say Battle of the Heroes.
I think so too. I think so too.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Battle of the Heroes, which
Because I'm kind of taking out the equation of like, oh, well, this wouldn't have happened because of this sort of thing, and just thinking
yeah,
of it
you
as
can't
like a
think
raw.
that way.
Yeah, because then it's like a whole chicken egg scenario, and then I'm just like you said, it with the bookend of like the flipping of the chronological versus release order sort of thing. Like 2005, when that dropped, you're just like, I get it, I mean, from the iconography to Ewan and Hayden just going crazy. Like the dialogue there is so soul crushing, even after 20 years. Like And then
Wes-
you get Kenobi
Wes-
because of it. Like,
Yeah, dude. Wes does make a good point though that and this is something that I was just mentally thinking of like the music of Duel of the Fates is
Yeah.
so like I love Battle of the Heroes, but I'm not thinking of the music during Battle of the Heroes. I'm thinking of the dialogue.
really?
When it's Duel of the Fates, I
Bro,
am
the music that
thinking of
plays when Obi-Wan is like, okay,
oh
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
that is great. Like,
But I'm also thinking of like when they go outside and then it transitions into Duel of the Fates and it's like bum, bum, da, 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 and you're just like, oh shit, dude. But then you get the music that's like the crushing music of like the oh, I failed you, Anakin. But the part of when he's on the edge and Anakin is on fire, like, and it's just like why did it have to be this way? You know, that because then that music accompanying the dialogue is really good. I don't know if you put that in the same box of it being the music during the fight, you know. But
from my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Bum, 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 bum,
Then you
bum,
are truly
bum,
lost.
bum, bum,
I have failed you,
bum,
Anakin.
bum,
I have
bum,
failed you.
I think we have to say battle. I think our heart. We have to listen to the will of the Force. That being you. You actually are just that. Like when they talk about it in the movies, I just you're like a little thought bubble. It's like, and you're like, just think about me.
It's like when you watch a movie on Amazon and then you get the more info and it's like an actor like picture of IMDb and it like describes who the character is and it's just like it's the Wheel of the Force and it like pops up on the bottom. Will of the Force approved. Approved.
Oh my god, Michael.
Yeah, I think I gotta go. I think I gotta go Battle of the Heroes. As much as for our list, I think I gotta go Battle of the Heroes here.
We still have our like actual like top 5 most
yeah,
iconic.
like the we haven't even talked about honorable mentions yet either. Of like there are so many that I'm like for a top 10, like there are so many like 5Bs for me. Like the first one I think about is the one that you brought up of like Maul, Savage, and Palpatine.
Great fight.
I love that fight. Bail and Ahsoka, love that fight.
Really good, dude.
Like there are so many. A fight that does not get enough credit is Kenobi Asajj in the Clone Wars movie. I love that fight too. When they're on that like little bridge, or when they're on that little bridge. Or not Asajj. Well, I said Asajj. I meant Dooku. In the Clone Wars movie.
Obi-Wan and
yeah,
Dooku?
Doesn't he fight Dooku in the Clone Wars movie? Am I insane right now?
All I'm thinking of in the Clone Wars movie is Anakin fighting Dooku to divert in on Tatooine.
Am I insane? Does Obi-Wan not fight Dooku in the Clone Wars movie?
That feels like something you're talking. Are you talking about Anakin versus Obi-Wan on the freaking Obadiah, where the Pike Syndicate is at?
What am I thinking of? Who is? Maybe that doesn't happen in the Clone Wars movie. I haven't watched that movie in so long.
You should watch it.
You should watch it. You should watch Star Wars.
Maul and Savage versus Obi-Wan and Asajj. Really good fight. Really good fight.
Yeah,
I agree. After when that's like pretty close after I think season 4, and then there's another fight. Luke, you mentioned Dooku and Obi, but there's the fight when they're on Obadiah, and it's that one where Dooku is putting Obi-Wan on the offensive and Anakin on the defensive.
Yeah.
That's like because that one, other than the Siege of Mandalore fight, which the why it's so good is because they're choreographing it, but all the other ones are all hand animated, which make them really fun.
Do you know what fight I really enjoy that we haven't even said that yet is Dooku and Yaddle from Tales of the Jedi.
Oh, dude, that is such a good character moment, bro.
I love that fight.
I agree, dude. I agree. That's a great fight. There's so many honorable mentions. I mean,
Dooku versus Asajj and the other Night Sisters when she's invisible.
Oh, and yeah, when they're invisible and he's like in his jammies. Eli the Jedi, the Stranger fight was great.
Obviously,
yeah, on it, both the one in episode 5 and the one versus him and Soul.
Yeah,
where dude, there's that part in episode 8 where they like clash and it's like in slow motion, like very kung fu movie. There's a part where like the lightsaber like it bounces off of Soul and Soul does this like move and they both come back to like the Stranger and he just like grabs them both out of air and puts the lightsaber back together. I'm like, oh my god. It's so good. It's so good. Also, like the fact that they're like on this like desolate mountaintop where like the coven's been abandoned for years. Great fight.
Honestly, Luke versus Kylo, the force projection is up there for me, but I don't know if
it's so
I don't
hard
know
for
if
me
it
to
counts
say that
because
fight.
it's a force projection. You know what I mean?
It's like in spirit it counts, but also like their lightsabers never make contact because he's not there. I'm gonna say a hot take right now. Both the fight in The Force Awakens with Finn, then Rey versus Kylo, and also Rey versus Kylo on the ruins of Death Star 2.
I love that fight. That's a top 10. That's a top 10.
I love that it has no music. I love that it's Rey. The roles are reversed. It's like, because in Force Awakens, it's Kylo is unstable. He is out of balance. He is wounded. And he is like, but Rey is like perfectly in tune. She's like accepting the Force. And also, yes, she has combat training. She lived on Mad Max planet for 20 years. And then you go to Rise, and it's got like awesome music and like the beautiful snow forest, because we never really had a snowy fight at that point. But then you go to Rise of Skywalker and it's water, and it's Kylo just shrugging her off, because people are always like, oh, Kylo loses the Rey every single time. If Leia never reached out to him in that moment, like Kylo had, Rey is like exhausted.
Yeah.
Like she is getting her ass handed to her, and Kylo's just shrugging her off. And it's only until Leia reaches out. And the fact, like, again, it has no music whatsoever, because it's not the final fight, right? It is a crux point, but it's like, it's just, it's really good. They're just getting soaked by the waves. Great fight. I'm on my sequel soapbox right now. Sorry guys if people hate me, but yeah, those are all honorable mentions. But let's go through our personal, and then let's make a iconic 5 like collaboratively together of all time. So currently, our combined lists from our individual list is number 1, Luke versus Vader on the Death Star 2, Return of the Jedi. Number 2 is the Siege of Mandalore, Ahsoka versus Maul. Number 3 is Obi-Wan or Old Ben versus Maul in Rebels, Twin Sons. Number 4 is Luke versus Vader and Cloud City on Empire Strikes Back. And number 5 is Anakin versus Obi-Wan on Mustafar, Battle of the Heroes. Now, I think we already have our top 3 of the most iconic, and then it's just figuring out those bottom 2 spots.
Yeah.
I still think number 1 is Throne Room.
Yeah, I still think number 1 is Throne Room. Honestly, I think top 5 for iconic is Return of the Jedi, Throne Room, Luke versus Vader. I think number 2 is Duel of the Fates. I think number 3 is Battle of the Heroes. I think number 4 is Luke versus Vader, Empire. And I think number 5 is still Ahsoka Maul, Clone Wars.
Really? I was going to say number 5 is Old Ben, Vader, and A New Hope. For top 5 most iconic?
No.
That's the thing. But it's more iconic than Ahsoka versus Maul. In the like the equity, the whole span of Star Wars, like someone who is just even a casual Star Wars fan, that is the 5 right there. Like, that is the very first lightsaber.
Yes.
I
really think in terms of like, I think in terms of lightsaber fights, Maul versus Ahsoka blows so many fights out of the water. I also really enjoy that fight too, because much like Battle of the Heroes, Duel of the Fates, Maul versus Ahsoka in Siege of Mandalore, they are trying to end each other that entire time. When it's Vader and Kenobi's just toying with him. And kind of like Return of the Jedi, Luke and Vader both don't want to really kill each other in that moment. Like towards the end, Luke is like, I'm going to kill this man, and then he stops himself, and it's a fleeting shadow. But it's but they're both like, they would both rather them come to terms and join each other's side. Obi-Wan versus Vader in A New Hope, Obi-Wan is just toying with him. He's waiting for Luke and Leia to see them so that he can be the example.
Also the last time that Obi-Wan and Vader ever see each other, like on the mortal plane. You know, it is the moment that like sets Luke off on his path to being a Jedi. Right?
I guess, but like my thing with that fight is like Obi-Wan's goal in that fight is not to even fight. He's just like, he literally is
that's pretty good though, right? That's a cool thing.
100%, but I don't know. I'm also just like, I'm also just like, yeah, as much as, yeah, only a master of evil. Strike me down and become more powerful than you could ever imagine. As much as I think that fight is more iconic as a Star Wars moment than it is as a Star Wars lightsaber duel. If that makes sense at all.
Okay, that's a good point. I agree with that. I don't know. I just like keep thinking of, like, shout out Connor and Seth. We've already mentioned them already. Beyond the Dune Sea, go follow them. They're great. I think about like the silhouettes of Star Wars, and that is one where I'm like, I see the silhouette of them crossing the sabers and the Falcon being in the background of the Death Star and Luke, you know, looking out at them. Like that's such a thing where I'm like, oh, that's so, because
yeah, bro. But then you want to talk about silhouettes and Maul reaching out his hand as the glass shatters in Siege of Mandalore,
but
and
that's not more iconic than Obi-Wan versus Vader.
Is it more? I think it's a.
For us, it might be. For us, it's like Star Wars
for just iconic. I think it's 70-30 or maybe even 80-20. Obi-Wan Vader versus Maul Ahsoka, but iconography, choreography, and weight, I think Maul and Ahsoka tops it.
Luke, are you in here, bro? Oh, okay. Both of those fights are just as iconic for both generations. Luke, but out of those, we got like the 4 goats in there. Which, by the way, you said Duel of Fates number 2 in the top 5 most iconic. I would have put Battle of the Heroes at number 2 and Duel of the Fates number 3 in terms of just in terms of iconic lightsaber fights. Like again, it's like 6-3, but I'm not that pressed about it.
We keep saying iconic. When I think of this list, I am saying like top 5 for the entirety of the Star Wars fan base. Like everybody who has ever been a Star Wars fan, top 5. I'm saying
there's 20 people here in the chat. Chime in. I want to know what people think. I want to quantify
this is our top 5 all-time list.
Yes.
Return of the Jedi at number 1. Return of the Jedi number 1, Luke versus Vader. Number 2, Battle of the Heroes, Anakin versus Obi-Wan and Mustafar. Number 3, Duel of the Fates, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Maul. Number 4, Vader versus Luke in Empire Strikes Back. And I gotta say, number 5 is Ahsoka Maul, Siege of Mandalore, Clone Wars Season 7. I really think I'm also like, in terms of a top 5 for the entire fan base, that is the best fight of Star Wars animation. And I just don't feel good about not having, when we look at like the time spent in canon, how much is spent in animation, that is the best fight of Star Wars animation.
I agree. I agree with you. For me, it's a thing of just like, because truthfully, like they're both right there for me. So like, It's not like it's like you're like trying to like climb this mountaintop. Like it is right there. It's just the matter of like, when you think about like because you said like it's a more iconic Star Wars moment than a lightsaber fight, and I agree. But also, it's like this weird oxymoron because it is a iconic lightsaber fight because it is the first lightsaber fight that was
Agreed.
ever...
No, I totally get. And my thing is just like, I guess for me, maybe if the lightsaber fight, like if the battle itself, if the choreography was even 10% better, I'd be like, yeah. But the choreography of that fight is so, like, I understand every move has weight between the two of them, but I think that's more for us as Star Wars fans thinking about that rather than like just your every, like, when I say Star Wars fans, I mean like sweaties for Star Wars fans, of us understanding like each blow is calculated in the same way we think of Maul versus Obi-Wan. And honestly, for the top 5, yeah, I would say Maul versus Ahsoka, because I think I think overall in all of the facets of what a lightsaber duel can be, I think that is better than, for this list, better than Obi-Wan and Vader. But I also think that Maul versus Obi-Wan is better than Obi-Wan versus Vader.
I mean, I agree. Like, it's just because they got like better stride. Also, Luke, what do you mean by this? What do you
Bro's
mean
about
by
to
this?
get blocked.
Like,
hey,
which it doesn't even matter.
What is your name, dude? What's your name? What is your legal government first name, sir?
Watch it just not be Luke at all. It's all just the cover.
His first name is Ben Quadinaros.
All one word. I mean, listen, I guess maybe it depends on the framework of like, I'm cool with this, like with Ahsoka and
my thing is like, I truly, and I think that what it really comes down to is there has to be at least one animated fight on this top 5 list, and that is the best animated fight in all of Star Wars animation.
It's interesting that you think there has to be an animated fight.
Because I'm like, in every Star Wars fan ever, animation is there are fans of Star Wars who are only fans of Star Wars animation.
That is true.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, with them in mind, I truly believe that fight needs to be at the 5 spot over Obi-Wan versus Vader in A New Hope.
Okay, I'm cool with that. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to do a list of like the butterfly effect list, obviously you would go Phantom Menace, Battle of the Heroes,
right.
A New Hope, Vader, Luke, Empire, and then Vader, Luke, Return of the Jedi. You could even flip-flop that list of like 1 and make 5, 1, 4, 3. Like, you could literally just reverse that list and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Because it really comes down to release order or timeline order.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No,
there are so many honorable mentions too, though, dude.
Oh, well, I have a couple of like extrapolated, like that's not even a word. That is a word, but not the word that I'm thinking of. It's extraneous lists.
Extrapolated.
Yeah, exactly. Of like, people really love to dog on like new canon fights. We are not those people. Like, no. We are people that like, we enjoy a lot of this fight. So I think we should do a top 5. And we could do individuals, we could do it together, whatever. I don't really care that much. Of like new like post 2013 Disney era fights, animation, live action, whatever. So it's like more of an emphasis on the shows.
I feel like that's almost easier than like if you were to take out the original saga. I think it's almost easier.
I mean, it's more or less, I guess, what we're doing is taking out the original saga, and we're also taking out. Well, yeah, because that means like all of Disney Plus shows, Rebels. Clone Wars season 7 specifically counts because that
is of also, Disney era. Rebels is of Disney era.
Yeah. My only prerequisite is I think it has to be lightsaber on lightsaber contact. So
agreed.
Like as much as I love like Mando versus Moff Gideon in Mando season 2, great fight, but it's like the Beskar spear versus the dark saber, and so
it's for the same reason I wouldn't put Ahsoka versus
Elsbeth
as Morgan Elsbeth on the list.
Great fight,
love it.
Yeah. Okay, well then okay, so we can go ahead and say that number 1 is Siege of Mandalore for new canon fights, like for like post 2013 Disney era fights. Siege of Mandalore easily is number 1.
Then a close second for me is Ahsoka Baylan.
That's my number 3.
Okay.
The fight in episode 5, Stranger murking all the Jedi's, number 2.
I like that.
Yeah, that. But then Ahsoka, but it's crazy. We got those within a year, like Ahsoka Baylan.
Yeah, dude.
And like, but I like because we're talking about like all 3 of those fights right there. All have amazing visuals and I think like story significance. Like the first one is we've already talked about Siege of Mandalore endlessly, so I don't need to go on and on about that.
Yeah.
For me, number 2, the Stranger fight of like it feels almost kind of like a horror movie.
You're so that's obviously on the top 5 list. No, yeah. I like it. I really like it at number 2.
And then Ahsoka versus Baylan, like with the star map around it and the crashing of the waves and
phenomenal.
The overcast, and it's like, and I mean Ahsoka being overwhelmed by the strength and strategy of Baylan being this like just giant like crusader, Dark Knight, not Batman. Like and her having to like switch it up and like go to the 1 saber stance because she's like 2 sabers are just not working out for her. That's my number 3 for sure.
Hot take number 4. I can't even not. I was about to. I can't even not smile. Women kneel from Skeleton Crew.
Oh my.
I broke before I even said it. I love Skeleton Crew so much.
I do too, man. I do.
Number 4 of the Disney era is Maul versus Kenobi.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. Why do I keep forgetting about that fight? Okay.
And I think number 4 is Twilight of the Apprentice, dude.
Number 5?
Or number 5 is Twilight of the Apprentice. It's either Twilight of the Apprentice or Rey Kylo on the ruins of the Death Star.
See, we're back down to a number, like a 3-way tie.
I know, dude.
Me, it's Twilight, it's Rey versus Kylo in the forest, and then it's Rey versus Kylo in Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, Rey versus Kylo in Rise of Skywalker, I would say, blows Force Awakens out of the water. As much as I love that fight,
no, I won't. It's a good fight. It's good. It's really fun. Freaking good, dude. They're catching the lightsabers with the Force, bro.
When Kylo walks out of the water and just switches it to the reverse grip, bro.
Okay, you've convinced me. I like.
It's so good.
I will say that like shot of like dude, I love. But also, I will say I think visually speaking, like the environment of the Force Awakens fight of like Kylo like doing like the him like hitting the wound, and then like there's when he like he kind of bodies Finn. Like Finn holds his own for a good while, but then when he's just like kind of messing with Finn, and then Rey comes in and like they're kind of going through the ravine, and it's like she's kind of
it's
struggling,
fun.
But he's
it's
like
fun
going at it. I'm like, I don't know. I love that fight, but I will say I like the emotional significance of the Rise of Skywalker one a lot better because it is Kylo like in his element, and it's right before the cusp of him turn. Okay, wait. So what was what was our top 3? Was it Siege?
Okay, number 1 for Disney era lightsaber duels is Siege of Mandalore, Maul versus Ahsoka. Number 2 is The Acolyte Episode 5, Khmer versus the entire Jedi Order. Number 3 is Baylan versus Ahsoka underneath the star map.
Yep.
Number 4 is Maul Kenobi from Rebels. And number 5 is Kylo versus Rey on the ruins of the Death Star.
Or Twilight. See, I'm gonna feel bad about not having Twilight.
I know, dude.
And because
I'm gonna feel bad not having something from the sequels there, though. Not for like, oh, we need to talk about the sequels, but like, I like the sequels fights.
I know we talk so much about Obi-Wan versus Maul, but weirdly in this specific list, I would rather have Twilight in there than Maul versus
Maul versus Kenobi is so good. It is so good. And the weight, the timed moves, the dialogue between Obi-Wan and Maul
around the fire.
For the same reason Duel of the Fates is on the list of Duel of the Fates is the exact same reason. Like me thinking of Duel of the Fates in the top 5 list of like hearing Filoni's voice, hearing Sam Witwer explain Maul versus Kenobi is like I cannot not have that on the list.
Ryan, this is so valid. That's what I like leaving anything out.
Oh yeah, this is like once again, and we say this about a ton of stuff. Tomorrow, our lists will change.
Yeah.
In 20 minutes after we hit end stream, our lists will change, which is the best part about Star Wars. This is literally just us. Honestly, a year from now, we'll revisit this and be like, are we still... Bro, there are things that could come to that could cream of the crop rise to the top for our top 5s that blow out other stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bro, if I was to watch Twilight of the Apprentice right now and not watch Season of Mandalore, I'd be like, it's the best fight ever. Like it's just like we both love
bias.
It's truly like we both love Star Wars so much, and we both hold all of these moments as like our favorite moments in all of Star Wars, that like ranking them it's a tall order, and it's not us saying, hey, this is better than the other one. It's just in terms of like it's truly just for the fun of it. And there's at no point are we putting down another fight by saying something is our preference.
Yeah.
It's just like when you rank the movies, dude. It's like, yeah, Return of the Jedi is my favorite, but like if I watch A New Hope, I'm like, I love this movie. I love A New Hope is my favorite over Empire. But then if I watch Empire, I'm like, Empire's the best. If I watch Phantom Menace, I'm like, Phantom Menace. Like, dude, Duel of the Fates. Your focus determines reality. It's literally the freaking whole thing with this. It's literally the whole thing with this. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's at number 2. Like, it's...
I wish we could count video games because I just had the craziest epiphany, bro.
What is it, Luke versus Starkiller on Hoth base when he turns into evil?
I'm talking. I just was looking at I have stickers on my PS5, bro. Cal versus spoilers. I don't think it makes it in my 5.
Chat, get him. Chat, get him.
If you haven't watched Jedi Survivor, played it or whatever, cover your ears for like 10 seconds. Cal Kestis versus Bo Dakuna. Such a good fight, dude.
I think Cal, or not Cal, Seer versus Vader is better than that.
Oh, that is so true, though. That is so true. That is
Seer
so
versus
valid.
Vader is so good.
Seer versus Vader weirdly is like this kind of strange, like not parallel, but like this kind of inverse flip of, I don't know. I know people kind of don't like that fight as much because they're like, Vader shouldn't have gotten beaten as bad, but I kind of love that. Like, Seer is a pretty wizened Jedi, and like I've been reading the Soul Vader comics, and like a lot of these like OG Jedi that are really in tune with the Force kind of put a beating on Vader. But he still doesn't. He still gets him. He still gets him every time, right? And I'm like, it's not. And anyway, back to the topic at hand. For me right now, in the same way that we were with Battle of the Heroes, my heart is leaning more towards Rise of Skywalker, Death Star Ruins, Rey versus Ben, especially because I am a Ben Solo Kylo Ren simp. That being said, Twilight of the Apprentice is so freaking good, and when those episodes came out, it was so. I'm trying to think of the word of like, it wasn't genre defining for me, but it was like period defining, where I was like, oh, because we didn't have Siege of Mandalore at that point, and I was like, that was the weight of like what Star Wars animation and lightsaber fights and all of it, like, that's what it proved to me. Like, because I love Clone Wars, we only had those first 6 seasons, great stuff, but we never had anything to that caliber. So when that happened, so much was riding on that. At that time. And I remember when those episodes ended and the music and I was like, dude, they are cooking right now. And
Ahsoka lives ?
Man, dude. And then like you get the art, like within like a year or two, you had Dave doing the doodles on the cards and like her walking through.
Bro, I've literally got them right there, dude. That's some of my favorite stuff.
It's insane, dude.
Yeah. I love that fight.
We will catch so much flack if we don't choose Twilight over episode 9, but truly,
I don't care.
I don't care either, man. I don't know. And now I'm kind of rethinking, like, it's weird because I might bump. No, but see, I like it better than the Balin Ahsoka fight. With the stranger fight, I was like, do I have that too high because of the choreography? But truly, like, I rewatched that fight so much.
It's so much fun.
It's such peak choreography. Like, that's what I'm talking about. If you want something to be like, what kind of fights does Grayson like? It's go watch that, and then go watch also, like, people will die on the hill of we need the Old Republic cinematic, like, lightsaber fights in live action. The Acolyte was that, dude.
Yeah.
It was. I don't care what you say. I grew up on those cinematics. That is the closest we have ever gotten to the perfect balance of weight and seamless choreography. Where they're not doing tippy taps. It's them punching each other and headbutting and like going full contact with lightsaber blades. The Acolyte did that. Regardless, I'm on a tangent right now. So, what is your heart telling you right now?
For me, in terms of like favoritism, I think of Twilight of the Apprentice 3 times a week.
He counts. He's like average 3 times a week.
Like average 3 times a week. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 7, sometimes I don't think about, like, it's like.
I have a question for you, and I don't disagree. Like, it's just more so just asking because you are so much, I would say, a bigger Ahsoka fan than I am, even though I love Ahsoka. From your perspective, why does Anakin versus Ahsoka in the War Between Worlds not count as much? Because it is a fight. I mean,
for the same reason that Luke and Kylo in Last Jedi doesn't count.
Really?
It's more of it's a thing of like the Force is so involved where like,
yeah,
like Luke's not even there. Is Anakin really there? Is it Ahsoka's dream? Is it really the World Between Worlds? Like, there's so much floating around it, and all of the rest of these fights are 100% they are there.
It's honestly, that's a great point. A great comparison to the Ahsoka Anakin fight in episode 5 of Ahsoka is Kanan versus the Grand Inquisitor as a temple guard.
100%.
That's or it's like, it's a fight, yeah, yep, absolutely, but it's so much more.
But it's taking place inside of their heads, as it could be taking place inside of their heads as much as it is taking place in a physical place of the World Between Worlds. And I think that's the fun of the World Between Worlds, is because it's not really a physical place. Mm-hmm. So I think
it's like Force Ghost, that it only appears to you when you are able to see or when you need it, sort of thing. You know?
Kanan versus the Grand Inquisitor in Rebels, Luke versus Kylo in The Last Jedi, Luke versus Vader in the cave on Dagobah.
Yep.
Anakin versus Ahsoka in the Ahsoka series. All of those fights are like because there is this whole third thing of the Force at action there, it's like a whole different category. As much as I love those, and as much as from like a choreography perspective, I love Anakin versus Ahsoka and like the behind the scenes and like how much that fight means. But it's also like there's also that like that underlying thing of like, is it really Anakin? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Is it a tangible fight? Yeah.
yeah. So I just think there's like that. Is there a fifth one for that list? Like weird
trippy force
weird
fights.
trippy force fights? I mean, hey buddy, what's your username?
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, well, yeah, like the only saber fight though I can think of in there is like Ahsoka when she gets corrupted, but like
Doesn't Anakin fight the uh the sun
yeah, but it's more
with
of like a.
sabers?
But I don't think he ever has like a saber. It's more like a
I
dagger
guess.
thing. I don't know. The one that came to mind for me was in Clone Wars when Yoda has that vision
With
with
yeah.
Dooku and everybody, and they're like
Yeah.
up on Palpatine's tower and stuff. That one's really cool. Like that's very trippy, and it's like it's not
Yeah.
real, but it's really good for Yoda's development.
I also think of Yoda oh well, I guess no lightsabers are really ignited. I was thinking of Yoda and what's his name? Not Bane. The guy who got his whole face changed and now he's like a samurai looking guy. And
That's
he's
Bane.
that's Bane, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm thinking of that one, but there's not a lightsaber ignited.
yeah. He just goes Darth Bane.
Yeah.
And it's Mark Hamill going, "Yeah, I'm Darth Bane, man." Crazy that Mark Hamill was voiced Darth Bane. Anyway.
Yeah, dude.
I'm thinking of like Rebels because they go to the temple a lot, but there's not really a whole lot there. I'm thinking of like dream sequences, but nothing really happens there. There's nothing that happens really in the cave or like the little like weird dark side vergence on Octo. Is there even a fifth? I mean, surely there's a fifth one somewhere, but another one that's kind of
does Rey ignite her saber when it's Dark Rey in the mirror in Rise of Skywalker?
They never actually fight. She just kind of like goes back. If she does turn on her lightsaber, they never like.
I mean, I know Dark Rey turns on her double-sided, but like
yeah. Dude, another Jaro Tapal in Fallen Order, in the fight between him and Cal when he's like coming to terms with it in the weird like.
That's the fifth one. That's the fifth one.
That's a great fight. Bro, Travis Willingham as Jaro Tapal.
Love Jaro Tapal.
Dude, bro, you like Jaro Tapal, man?
I love Jaro Tapal.
I do too.
Bro, when you're young Cal and Jaro, you keep seeing Jaro in Order 66, like fighting off all the other clones. Peak.
It's peak. See, Sosa Rin says the Dark was technically a force fight, so that would count. But I think the Jaro Cal one is better.
Yeah, I think it's better.
That's a crazy B-side list of fights that aren't actually fights but give a lot of character development but also have lightsaber contact, but is it real? Question mark.
Lightsaber duels where the force is 100% like visibly present.
Yeah. We still haven't determined our 5 for the new canon one. It's at this point I literally I'm letting you choose. Is it going to be Rise of Skywalker or is it going to be Twilight of the Apprentice? You choose, bro. I honestly.
But as this,
both.
I'm like, am I choosing as me or am I choosing as like the fandom?
Well, let's just choose it as us.
If I choose it,
this is, I think, a kind of a.
I love Kylo and Ren in Rise of Skywalker. That's my favorite sequels fight. No question.
Absolutely, yeah. Sosa, so we're doing our top 5 like new. We did top 5 regular fights. We did like my list, his list, a combined determined focus list, and like an all timer iconic list. And now we are doing top 5 new canon post 2013 fights. So anything that has been underneath the Disney umbrella, whether that's Disney Plus or Rebels or Siege of Mandalore, like season 7, that counts. Currently, our number 1 is Siege of Mandalore, Maul versus Ahsoka. Number 2 is Stranger versus all like 8 or 10 Jedi in episode 5. Not episode 3. Number 3 is Balin versus Ahsoka on Cetos in episode 4 of Ahsoka. And then number 4 is Maul versus Obi-Wan on Rebels. And then now our number 5 we are deliberating. Is it going to be Rise of Skywalker, Kylo versus Rey on the Death Star wreckage? Or is it going to be Twilight of the Apprentice in season 2 of Star Wars Rebels, Ahsoka versus Vader? Weirdly enough, my heart is leaning more towards Twilight of the Apprentice because of how just monumental that fight is. But God, I want to put a sequel fight on there, dude. Like, people dog on those fights so much, and I just don't. It was specifically for the episode 7 and episode 9 fights. I just don't get it. That fight is awesome.
Yeah, but in Twilight of the Apprentice, you get I am no Jedi.
Yeah, and you get so the apprentice lives, You get
Ahsoka?
Then you will die.
Bro, when he picks his head up and you see Anakin's eye and it turns to Matt Lanter's voice, Ahsoka?
Dude. But then it goes to the yellow and then you will die. And
then you will die.
The bass boosted of the red lightsaber, bro. And then her rushing in and it's so good.
We need not be adversaries.
Bro, and I know this is Ahsoka isn't necessarily in the picture at this point. But when he's flying down on the TIE fighter.
Aura.
Dude, controlling it with the Force.
I think I will say, I think Twilight of the Apprentice is my favorite Vader fighting lightsaber duel. Because he is trying to end her there.
Yeah.
That's my favorite
for
fight
2 or 3 years.
Yeah. And obviously
he's trying to end
obviously Battle of the Heroes. He's Vader in that moment, but he's not in the suit. I'm talking about in the suit Vader.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you're saying it's your favorite Vader, yeah. Because in Empire, okay, if we're talking about all-time Vader, I'm not doing a Vader list. This is going to take forever. But that being said, in Empire and Return of the Jedi, I don't think he's trying to kill Luke. In Battle of the Heroes, I do think he's trying to kill Obi-Wan, and I do think in Kenobi, in their final fight, he's trying to kill Obi-Wan, and I do think in the first half he may not be trying to kill Ahsoka, but then the back half he's like, all right, I'm gonna kill you. That's a weird, I never really thought about that. That's a big 50-50 with Vader a lot of times. Or a lot of fights, he's actually not killing the kid. But granted, if you start considering all of the other, characters that aren't significant to the main Skywalker saga, he's like, bye, And see,
after this, we should just do an animated list. Because I feel like an animated list is top 5 easy.
I was about to say, I think that's where we should end it. Sosa, by the way, love the concept art of Kymer's mask. This is the profile picture. That is rad.
Is that concept art?
Yes, that's the concept art for the Stranger helmet. It was one of the pieces that got released last year.
That's sick.
I needed art of Acolyte books so bad.
Yeah.
I love the sequel fights, but Ahsoka versus Vader just hits different. I think you're right.
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
Malachor aesthetics, dude. The shimmering ground, the pyramid.
That is one of the only fights where I am in tears watching it. Versus entertaining, oh, I know what's going to happen. I'm analyzing that. That is one of the only where I'm dude, when I'm telling you, when he picks his head up and Ahsoka, and you see Ahsoka not even looking at him, just go,
yeah,
Anakin, yeah.
It's also,
I think it's got to be that.
Yeah, part of me is also viewing that as in he's doing that as a bait tactic almost. It's in a weird way where I'm is he just doing it like to get in her head? Like I can see him doing that, you know, like or maybe there's like one little glimmering hope. But I also love watching that fight from like Ezra and Kanan's perspective. Well, I guess not Kanan's perspective because he can't see. But just again, that entire, I mean, like last 15 minutes of that episode.
POV or Kanan?
Ezra, what's going on? Okay, well let's wrap. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the list here of our top 5 new canon Disney era post 2013 fights. At number 5, we have Twilight of the Apprentice. At number 4, we have Maul versus Obi-Wan in Rebels. At number 3, Balin versus Ahsoka in Ahsoka episode 4. Number 2, Stranger versus the Jedi Squad in episode 5 of the Acolyte. And then number 1, Siege of Mandalore, Maul versus Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Animated fights in general. Well, is Siege of Mandalore still going number 1?
Siege of Mandalore is still number 1. Number 2 is Maul versus Kenobi. Number 3 is Twilight of the Apprentice. Number 4 is I want to say Maul, Palpatine, Savage.
I also wanted to say that, but I'm also like, is there one slightly better? And also, we haven't talked about Gendis, and Asajj versus Anakin is probably
does that count though as a non-canon thing?
I'm just talking animation.
Just all of animation,
just all Star Wars animation.
Yeah. Asajj, and Anakin. If it's all animation, Asajj and Anakin is on that list.
Yeah. So we did actually mention Dooku versus Night Sisters. I think on this list that's an honorable mention, but we did mention it earlier, and that's a great fight.
Do you think Kanan versus Maul, where he blinds him, is on that list?
I wish I could say yes, but I do think Palpatine versus Savage and Maul is slightly higher, and because that's just like Palpatine absolutely letting loose.
Like, do you know what I think the number 5 is?
Is this under the pretense that 4 is the Palpatine one? Or
yes.
4 is 4 Asajj versus Anakin?
I think 5 is Dooku Yaddle.
See, that's like my 6.
Dude, I love that fight.
It's interesting because like I'm kind of blanking on the details of the actual fight itself.
Oh, they're going at it, bro. Yaddle is fighting like Yoda in the Senate, dude.
But hear me out. Hear me out that I think could be a number 5. The Ronin versus the Bandit Leader in Visions.
See,
it's animation. It's animation.
Now you're making my brain hurt.
Like there's so many good little ones like that, you know? Like, and I agree with you, like Dooku and Yaddle, like that is a top tier one right there. I wish I could say another honorable mention. I would put this over Maul versus Kanan in Rebels. Kanan versus the Grand Inquisitor is pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
2 lightsabers just straight into the circle. Done. Like, as soon as he's like, I'm not afraid anymore, Grand Inquisitor did not stand a chance. That is one of my favorite current tropes in Star Wars is just when a Jedi is like, they have let go of all of their fear. And the top 2 moments of that, honestly, is Kanan versus the Grand Inquisitor and then Seer versus Vader in Survivor. Those are like 2 moments where I'm like, damn, they are full on unafraid in their element, one with the Force Jedi right there. Sosa says Ventress versus the Inquisitor. That I will say that fight in Tales of
the Underworld.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it in the top 5, but that fight did go really hard. That was really
was fun.
Well animated, and I don't think that one was also hand animated. That wasn't like mocapped.
You know what fight I love, even though it's not a lightsaber duel because Ahsoka doesn't ignite her lightsaber, is Ahsoka versus the Inquisitor in Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah. I just realized the Ronin does that exact same thing to the Bandit Leader.
Ahsoka does that with the other Inquisitors when it's her when we see Ahsoka ignite her lightsabers for the first time when she comes out in Rebels as well.
Oh, that's what I was talking. What were you talking about the first time?
When she goes against the one Inquisitor in Tales of the Jedi.
I forgot she does that too.
Yeah.
So she does that 2 different times.
Yep. She does that in canon. She does that before Rebels.
Yeah.
In the timeline.
Bro, Ahsoka is out here catching Inquisitor like bodies, bro.
Yeah.
Like she I'm like it's like I think she has the record for like the most Inquisitors just defeated.
It's either her or what? Like, no, I guess Cal doesn't count.
Cal takes out
the
Masana Tide, which is
the ninth sister.
Yeah. And he beats the second sister, but he doesn't kill her. Maul kills the 7th and the 5th and the 8th.
Yeah.
Because the 8th, technically, he shorts out the lightsaber and then falls.
Yeah.
But then Ahsoka gets the one in well, the Ahsoka beats 7th and 5th, but she doesn't kill them.
No.
But then she does beat Marok, which technically, if what we see in Shadow Lord, based on what we know, it could have been Maul that kills Marok originally, which then would put Maul at the highest.
We will say there's a caveat to this animated list, and honestly, maybe the all-time list, that whatever the lightsaber duels in Maul Shadow Lord are going to be historic. Historic.
Cannot wait, dude. Okay, yeah,
which
so fact checking us. Yeah. Maul has killed the most. Ahsoka has beaten the most.
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot wait for Shadow Lord, dude.
I really think 5 is Dooku and Yaddle. I really, as much as I love the Ronin, I think 5 is Dooku Yaddle.
But you're not putting Asajj versus Anakin. You're not allowing that from Gindy's. I will take. That is in my top 5.
I'm just like, it's not canon.
That doesn't matter.
I know. What? Who are you?
We're just
the
doing
comments
animation
on our Starkiller video.
Yeah. In this specific list,
it doesn't matter. Just put him in the game. It's for fun. It's a video game. Yeah, that's our whole friggin' point.
But I will say, like, in this specific now, if we were just being like, hey, like, you know, Lucasfilm Animation, right? Because technically, Genndy Tartakovsky making 03 Clone Wars was not part of Lucasfilm Animation, but
Correct.
So much of what modern animation has done was because of Genndy, right? That was the catalyst, truly, for the door opening for modern animation, despite it being 2D sketched, which is why I do think that fight is so good, you know? Plus, I mean, this isn't in the top 5, but like Grievous versus all the Jedi on Hypori or whatever it is, when he first shows up and he's just like goated.
Grievous versus the Jedi on Coruscant too, for the Siege of Coruscant.
Mm-hmm. So let's go through. One is Siege of Mandalore. For this is for our animation fight. Number 1 is Siege of Mandalore, Ahsoka versus Maul, which has literally been on every single one of our lists. Number 2 is, what did we put at number 2? Oh,
I said Kenobi Maul.
Kenobi Maul. 3, Twilight of the Apprentice. That was our top 3. Then I'm saying Asajj Anakin on Yavin as 4, but you don't want to include it because it's technically non-canon. But I will say it is still in my head canon. I still consider that fight canon. No, it is canon. It is canon because Star Wars Brotherhood talks about it. By Mike Chin, they reference that fight. They talk about that he fought Asajj.
Okay.
Trust me, bro. Trust me. I know this.
Okay.
So then, what is number 5? If I include that, are you okay, bro? Bless you.
I just screamed so loud.
So then, I'm taking Palpatine versus Maul and Savage on Mandalore at number 5. But if you want Dooku, if you're gonna let me have Gindy's in there, I'll let you.
I would say just for the fact of like canon, Palpatine, Maul, Savage goes in the 4 spot.
So you're making me put So you're gonna let me have Asajj versus Anakin, but only if it's at number 5.
I agree.
Fine.
We
I
did
don't like
it.
I don't
We
agree
did
with
it. Number
but I
5.
accept it.
Number 5. Animated battles. Anakin versus Asajj in Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars. Number 4 is Palpatine, Maul, and Savage, the 1v2. Number 3 is Twilight of the Apprentice, Ahsoka v. Vader. Number 2 is Obi-Wan versus Maul, Rebels. And number 1, which is like the number 1 animated and one of the best lightsaber duels of all time, animated or live action or whatever you want to call it, Siege of Mandalore, Ahsoka versus Maul at number 1. We cool? We did like 7 lists.
Yeah, here's a 7 different lightsaber hierarchies.
Gosh.
And again, our list will change tomorrow. We're going to text each other and be like, oh my God, how did we forget about Cad Bane fighting Quinlan Voss and Obi-Wan? You know? Oh, no.
I didn't even think of that.
Oh no, what have I done?
He 2v1s Obi-Wan and Quinlan Voss, and he's not even a Jedi.
He does do that.
He's got rocket boots.
That actually is... Dang, I
Wow.
I forgot.
That might take the Anakin Asajj spot.
No, dude, you can't. Dude, think about on the top of the mountain. He's doing the Anakin. He's doing the loop to Vader, but he's seeing the flashes of Obi-Wan and Yoda and everybody.
The aura farming of Anakin standing there shirtless with the rain hitting the lightsaber is extremely cool. But Cad Bane with a lightsaber and rocket boots.
Get out of
he's
here,
okay.
bro.
The only thing that would make Cad Bane cooler than he already is if he had a lightsaber, and he has a lightsaber in that fight. He beats Obi-Wan.
No, we've already settled it. We already shook on it.
All right, so the number 5 spot is Cad Bane versus Obi-Wan.
I'll take out Maul. No, I can't take out Maul versus Savage and Palpatine. That's
no.
I mean,
No. That fight is so much fun.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Well, there's an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, we literally talked about one thing the entire time, which is awesome.
We lived up to the title of this.
Yeah.
And I'm happy about it, truthfully.
Yeah, we did it. I don't know. Bye. Can you imagine that's how we ended it?
Hey, go check out Rebel Scum. We're August 8th through the 10th. We've got a code, The Force, 10% off. You should be there. It's going to be awesome. If you want to help support financially, go check out some merch, as some of you already have. That would be a huge help. And as always, may the Force be with you, but more importantly, your focus determines your reality. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Always remember.